These commitments to only providing what's local is really the heart of the business. My name's Retallick. I've worked for Dallans for over 9 years now. Marketing, community relations and media is basically what I do day to day. The business was founded in 2012 by David Evans and Robin Hodgson. The mission statement is the same now as it was back then, basically celebrating the local produce and character, natural beauty of North Wales. A lot of this is through the restaurant buildings. They're all coastal locations. So Manor Bridge, Port Aetwi, that opened in 2012. Criccieth, where we are today, in 2015, we opened here after a period of renovation of the Maranydd building down here on the seafront, and that's just a stone's throw from the water. So it's another perfect location to follow that mission statement, really. 2017, we opened Dallans Llandudno, further up the coast in Conwy, and then after a brief gap due to the pandemic, we opened Dallans Conwy in September 2023. So the business is now made up of 4 restaurants, 2 baked goods and general stores, which we supply from our own bakery in Llangefni. So the business has grown rapidly in the last 10 years. For Dallans, I guess, celebrating the natural beauty of the area and being custodians of these amazing buildings that really look after us and keep giving back to us is super important. Whether you're walking the coastline on foot, whether you're driving in for the day, whether you're staying down the road, you get to really experience what makes this part of the world special. And whichever way you come, you get to see something that is basically from the waters or from the green landscape around, but presented on the menu. 66% of everything that we buy into our kitchens is Welsh, local, regional, and that makes a colossal difference, obviously, to the local supply chain. And this is us kind of putting our Dallans flag, I guess, in the ground and saying this is what we want to commit to the area. And in 2023, that equated to a £1.3 million spend with local, regional Welsh suppliers. So it's us putting our money, I suppose, where our mouths are. It's not just a spend, but it's part of the kind of local food network partnerships, and feeds into the economy that way. As a business, Dallans runs events throughout the year, and we focus heavily on the opportunity to educate where we can. Being able to provide that outreach and that education and that experience, getting food into people's mouths really changes people's perceptions of what's available and what they might want to buy, what they might want to think about putting on their plates at home as well. Supporting the local seafood economy, it cannot just happen in restaurants. We do have a kind of social responsibility, I suppose, to spread that word about what's available on our doorsteps as much as possible. I probably shouldn't paint too much of a rosy picture. Sometimes demand can outstrip supply, and we have to be really careful to balance that. We've made a pledge not to bring in our lobster from anywhere else. Now that brings with it supply, issues. If the weather's poor, then there might not be lobster. If the season's wrong, there won't be lobster. Part of our education and part of our mission for sharing this is to explain to our guests and our customers why this is part of the beauty and importance of what we do. These commitments to only providing what's local is really the heart of the business. Another challenge is, I suppose, the price point. We aren't going to rip off somebody that we know face to face. We're not going to ask them to drive their prices lower because we know that they've got the same bills to pay that we do. We kind of know how this local supply chain works, and so we can hopefully grow it together and also preserve it together. Working through our specials menus is really important because it allows us to put dishes on that everyone knows aren't there for a long time, and that helps us with scarcity. It helps us with seasonality. Catch of the day, whether it's oysters when they're in season, all of those things we can share with our guests through specials. I'd just like people to be able to look at us and go, they really try. They really try, because the effort that goes in is honestly huge. the effort to, maintain relationships and to hit a price point that aren't going to put people off while still being able to serve the same things year after year with rising costs as we're all experiencing, how to strike that balance. I'd love people to look at us and just say, do you know what, they really try. Do we get everything right all of the time? No, nobody does, but we really, really try. We've, drawn a line in the sand with so many things, so many dishes, so many different produce items, and saying, no, we will always serve this first and foremost. And for me, that's a huge point of pride that we will continue to maintain that. And I think that within our team is something that we can kind of all rally around. And something that we can continue to celebrate long into the future.